Hi everyone, Lydia here. Thank you for tuning in to TME TV, and today on episode 4 we are going to talk about the power of words and the power that words have on people. Now, as most of you know, I'm a nurse. I do social media consulting for my business out of the house, and I deal with words a lot. I know the power that they have. They can hurt, they can heal, they can help, they can hinder. And that's what I want to talk to you about today is the undiscussed topic of emotional abuse. It happens everywhere. It can happen in your home, it can happen in the workplace, it can happen online, and it hurts. And a lot of people don't consider it abuse because you're not being physically harmed. You're not walking around with a black eye that people can see, but it's there, it's under the skin, it's in your head, it's affecting your thinking, it's affecting how you interact with people, and that's why it's important to be aware of it. Now, I'm making this video as much for myself as for you because for the last month I have been going through a roller coaster of emotions on the journey towards becoming single again. I have been dealing with my ex-husband and his girlfriend in my home for 2.5 weeks, sleeping in my home in a room together while he was here to visit the kids. And it didn't end up being about the kids. It ended up about him coming up to try and get me back. And there was a whole bunch of emotional arguments and fights and psychological warfare that happened that really slammed me and slammed me good. And, I got sucker punched. Not gonna lie. And so how am I coping with all of it? How am I dealing with all of it when life hands you a triple S sandwich? How do you deal? Most of you that are close to me know that I've struggled with depression for a good portion of my adult life. I make no secret of it. I don't advertise it usually, but I make no secret of it. If you ask me, yes, I've suffered from it. I chose, in my own personal decision, was not to use psychiatric medications to help me manage it. So when my depression gets bad, which it does from time to time, even though it's summertime and the sun is out and the birds are singing, some days you just have an off day. Depending on how stressed you are, you just have an off day. I give myself permission to take a mental health day. And when I take a mental health day, I shut everything down. My phone, my computer. I will sit in my bed and eat bonbons and watch movies, or I will sleep. I will meditate. I will take care of myself. I will become a turtle, crawl inside my shell, and let myself heal. But the thing for me that I have found is, like most people with depression, if you give into it once, you want to wallow. And so I only give myself that one day. And the reason for that is because there is so much around me that needs to be accomplished, and I need to be functional. So that one day for me helps me become functional again. I don't guilt myself about taking the day. I just take it. Period. The end. If I need it, I take it. Now, is that the answer for everybody? The nurse in me knows it is not. There are wonderful medications out there that other patients with depression have used and successfully. For me, I'm the 1% that gets every horrible side effect on a label, so it wasn't such a good choice for me. Am I telling anyone that you need to just toss the pills and try it on your own? Heck no. That is not the point. If you and your doctor have discussed it and decided that medication therapy is a benefit to you and it outweighs the risks, it outweighs the side effects for you, you got to do what you got to do, and don't let anybody make you feel bad for doing it. There is no stigma. There should be no stigma when it comes to mental illness, because it happens. It happens more often than people think, and if it helps you be the best person you can be and be functional and present for your family and for yourself, go for it. I mean it, go for it. But in my case, it wasn't an option. So I take the mental health day, just one day, and then I kick myself in the ass and say, okay, buttercup, suck it up and move on. But a lot of people don't even understand what I'm talking about when I say emotional abuse. And like I told you before, Remy and I have been married for 10 years. And the first 5 years were pretty good. And we had a lot of fun together. We raised our family. I had my family. Matter of fact, I was about pregnant for 5 of the 10 years we've been together. So there was a lot of transition. And pregnancy and child rearing is a lot of stress on a relationship. And the last 5 years, it wasn't overnight. It was just kind of a slow and insidious slide into an emotionally toxic environment for the both of us. I am going to be the first to tell you I am a human being. I am not blameless here. It's two people to make a marriage work or fail. It is not all one-sided. I freely admit that. But when you are with a partner and the conversation stops being about, I'd like to spend time with you, and it starts becoming about, what are you doing this for? I have been so good to you. What are you doing this for? And do you really want to eat that piece of cake? Because I thought you told me you wanted to lose weight. Or, why did we have to spend this money? I don't think we need to spend the money right now, and I don't feel like you're listening to me. When that starts to take root in a relationship, if you don't work on it immediately, if you don't address it then, and you let it slide, and you say, oh, I'm going to talk about it later. I'll tell you a secret, later never happens. It never happens. And it affects how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, the level of value you place in yourself. And that is a tall proposition to crawl back from. And the last 2 years that we were together, I literally hit snooze. I hit snooze on my life. I coasted. I was in a very deep depression, in a deep fog. And when the alarm went off in the morning, I would lay there for 5 minutes after I hit snooze, and I would have to mentally list the reasons why I needed to be out of bed that day. I would have to go through my list and force my body to move, to get out of bed, to push through the wall of apathy. And saying hi to the neighbors, benefits of front porch life. I had to do that. And that is one of the crappiest feelings. Anybody with depression knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't have depression, just picture that. Picture having to force yourself to get out of bed. That's what it feels like. And that's what I did every day for the last 2 years we were together. And he was doing the same thing for his own reasons. He was forcing himself to go through the motions. And it's toxic. There's a reason we're not talking right now, because it is toxic. That kind of existence is horrible. Horrible place to be. And right now he's having a hard time accepting the fact that we're over and that I'm not to be seen as a romantic partner anymore. So I'm claiming my space. I am not allowing the emotional abuse to continue or perpetuate itself. And that's tough to do when somebody is so close to you and such a part of your world, and you have to look at that person and say, you are no good for me, you are hurting me, even though you love me. That's a hard thing to say. But in all honesty, that is what you have to do when you are being emotionally abused. You have to take the time for yourself. You have to care for yourself. You have to build your self-esteem up again and find the value in yourself. Because believe me when I tell you, there is value in you. You are a human being. You are a beautiful combination of energy and cells and synapses and emotions and thoughts. You are beautiful because you exist. But it's very easy to let life beat you down. it's very easy to let people creep into your space that pull you down. And you have to choose not to be a crab in the bucket and let the rest of the crabs pull you back. You have to climb above it. And that is my message to you today. Emotional abuse is real. It's glorified in movies. It's all over the media as being acceptable. It's in gangster rap, every other song you listen to talking about bitches and hoes. It's in allowing people to make you feel less than your potential. And I want to remind you that you don't deserve it. I'm not perfect. I am not a Virgin Mary. I am not to be on a pedestal. I am a human being. I am a woman with flaws. But by owning myself, by knowing the worth I hold for my family, my gifts, my talents, it makes it easier for me to shrug off the hate and the pain. And right now I'm soft. Right now I'm leaning really heavily on a few good friends and telling them, I'm in a bad place. I really need a little help. I just need some help. Admitting that you're soft and vulnerable from time to time is not a bad thing. You are human. You have to give yourself permission to do that. And there's going to be times that my friends need to lean on me when I'll be the strong one. And I know that. So taking care of yourself has to become the priority. And eventually when you heal up, when you've turtled long enough, you've been inside your shell and you've healed enough, you need to have a conversation with the person who made you feel that way. And if you can't do it face to face, if you are not feeling emotionally steady enough to do it face to face, then you need to write them a letter. You need to send them a long text message. You need to send them an email. You need to do what you need to do. And the one last thing I want to tell you about those conversations is that they're not for the person who hurt you. They are for you. Because chances are what's going to happen is the person that hurt you is not going to hear a word you say. They're going to get defensive. They're going to get angry. They are going to tell you that you turned it all around and made it all their fault. But if you are using that conversation as an opportunity to tell yourself, this is my line in the sand. I know I'm strong enough to stick to it, and that's what I'm going to do. And you are using it as a way to put all of those feelings that they made you feel into some kind of context that helps you grow as a person and become stronger yet, then the conversation has done its job. So when they respond with vitriol, just shrug it off, because the conversation was about you, telling them how you feel. And maybe they'll be the 1 in 10 that actually hears you and listens and understands. But don't count on it. So, I'm sorry that this is approaching a 15-minute video. I tend to get a little wordy when I'm passionate about something because I'm, Italian and Irish. It's how we roll. And I just wanted to let you know that you have value. It's not just about the business that you run from your home. It's not just about your role in society, your title of mother, nurse, whatever your titles are. It's all bullshit. It's all labels. It's all bullshit. You don't need the labels. You need to know that you, right there, sitting in that chair watching this movie, has value just because you're you. And that nobody, and I mean nobody, should be allowed to make you feel less than beautiful because you are you. And if they do, process the emotions in a healthy way. Do what I suggested. Talk to your friends. Lean. And then let them know they made you feel like poop. And let it go. Because life is too short. Life is too short for emotional abuse. And nobody should do it to you. I love you very much. Thanks for watching this all the way to the conclusion. Thank you for being part of my community here on TME TV. This is Lydia signing off, and I will see you next time. Peace, babies.